Well, there's the ethics commissioner who said that you going to the Aga Khan Island on the helicopter was actually deemed to be a federal crime. Now, I've read that you said that he was a longtime family friend of yours, which is great. If he is, you know, that's great. Except that if he is a longtime family friend of yours since you've known since you were a kid, you're probably not supposed to be giving money to his foundation.
Yes, I consider him to be, and he is, a longtime family friend. The Ethics Commissioner, quite rightly, points out that there should be a higher bar for friendship for someone with the position and the responsibilities of the Prime Minister. And I absolutely agree with that, and I accept that. And that's why, going forward, every single one of my vacations will be cleared in advance with the Ethics Commissioner, because it's really, really important to me to highlight that we follow the rules. Now, there have been a lot of partisan back and forth on this, and that's all part of the way politics is done. It's pushing and shoving and attacking and this and that. But at the core of it, the Ethics Commissioner is the person who makes the determination of whether the right things happen or the wrong thing happens, and I fully accept that if I had to do it all again, I would have worked with the Ethics Commissioner from the outset, even though this was a friend, and we would have followed the recommendations that the Ethics Commissioner gave on this, whatever they were.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to the House for agreeing to host this debate this evening. I think members of all party will agree that it is an important conversation and that our constituents across the country will be listening. This is one of those rare occasions when a national news event sends reverberations right across the country, even though its crucible is in one particular geographic location. All Canadians stand with the people of Oshawa today. All Canadians. Tonight, moms and dads will go home in that city and sit their children down at the dinner table and tell them that they have terrible news, that the place they go to work every day might not be around for very much longer. And then after the kids go to bed, moms and dads will come together and they'll talk about what they're going to do. How are we going to pay the mortgage? How are we going to make that minimum contribution to the registered education savings plan so that the kids who are graduating from high school in just 5 or 6 years have a chance to go to university? This night might be a very long one. Those parents might, yes, go to bed, but they might not sleep because those incredible pressures will weigh on them all through the hours of darkness. And we want them to know that there will be light at the end of this tunnel, and that we have the opportunity to rebuild these opportunities. We have the opportunity to rebuild the economic livelihoods of the people who have gotten this terrible news. And I think, Mr. Speaker, there's nothing that I can say or that any of us can immediately do this evening that is going to change the decision of General Motors to shut down its operations in Oshawa. There is nothing we can say that will provide comfort to those families, but what we can do is learn from the events that we've learned of over the last 24 hours and plan accordingly. What these events teach us is that no matter how good things seem to be going on the surface, trouble may just be around the corner. Canadians are suffering under carbon taxes. In Calgary, the school board just reported it had to spend $3.3 million on carbon taxes and had to cancel 5 school buses, affecting 400 school children because the carbon tax was too expensive to keep them in operation. Ironically, school buses are good for the environment because they put everybody on the same vehicle instead of more cars on the road. How many Ontario school buses will have to be cancelled when the Liberals impose their new carbon tax on January 4th?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment.
Mr. Speaker, it's really unfortunate that there's a new generation of Conservatives that don't seem to understand that climate change is real, that's having a real impact. In fact, when you look, there's some like the member for Caribou, Prince George, he doesn't even seem to think that climate change is real. We know that we need to take action. We know that we need to do the measures that make most sense, that when you look at putting a price on pollution, you have the President and CEO of the Business Council of Canada. We support the price mechanism because it provides the economic incentive for consumers to change their behavior and for businesses to invest in technologies that progressively reduce their emissions over time. But what Canadians want to know is what exactly is the concern?
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Oompa, doompa-dee-doo. I've got a perfect puzzle for you.
Our plan certainly is not to hammer school children, consumers, and families with higher taxes and then use quotes from the lobbyists for CEOs to defend it all. In fact, those same CEOs have gotten themselves exemptions from the carbon tax while making everyday Canadians pay. Now, the government's own documents admit that the carbon tax will have to be 6 times higher than the government admits right now. That means a 66-cent a litre tax on gas. Will the minister confirm that the tax is going to go up to 66 cents a litre if this party is re-elected?
Honourable Minister of the Environment.
Him to be